I think we're good.
If you can read record.
Recording in progress.
Good evening, everybody. I'll call to order the meeting of the Board of Library Trustees for Tuesday, October 15th, 2024. Jennifer, would you lead us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Amen. Mary Ann, would you call the roll?
Collada? Here. Deitchman?
Here.
Ford? Here. Hubbard? Here. Larson? Here. Russo?
Here.
Fasano? Here.
Thank you, Mary Ann. Number 4 on our agenda is comments from the audience. Would anyone here or online like to speak to the board? Hearing none, we'll move on to number 5. Would someone like to make a motion to approve the agenda?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
A motion by Trustee Ford and a second by Trustee Hubbard. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And the agenda is approved. Number 6, we have 2 items on the consent agenda. They are the September 17th, 2024 regular board meeting minutes and the September 2024 expenditures report. Would someone like to make a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I move to approve the consent agenda.
And a second?
I will second that.
So a motion by Trustee Fasano and a second by Trustee Collada. Any discussion? Then Mary Ann, would you call the roll?
Collada? Aye. Deitchman?
Aye.
Ford?
Aye.
Hubbard? Aye. Larson? Aye. Russo?
Aye.
Fasano? Aye.
And that the consent agenda is approved. Number 7 is a report, the security cameras and access panel update.
So we went on the tour with the COW meeting, and you were able to see the 21 cameras that we've installed inside the building and 3 on the exterior of the building. And just want to reiterate that the installation of these cameras was solely for the purposes of enhancing the safety and security of library property, patrons, and staff. And at that COW meeting on October 3rd, Andrew Lantham, our IT manager, provided all of you with a comprehensive tour of the facility, highlighting new security cameras in the integrated access panel control system. And I wanted to point out that the whole project was around $100,000 with both the access panels and the security cameras. However, in 10 to 15 years, if we have to replace any cameras, or anything needs updating, the cost will be significantly lower since we will only need to replace the actual cameras because the wiring and all of that was part of the original installation. So it was a lot more money up front, but anything beyond this would not be nearly as expensive. Yes. Oh, I thought you were saying.
I actually was going to say, and you said last time that the cameras will work with any program, so if we ever have to update the program, that they will still work.
And when we were anticipating the installation of these cameras, we created the new policy for the security camera policy, which I made sure to add into your packet just for review. Just to reiterate the purpose of the cameras and how they're going to be used, that how our policy stipulates that recordings are stored for only 30 days. The access to the recordings is restricted to managers, persons in charge of the building. And that we have placed signage at the entryway to the building indicating in English and Spanish that security cameras have been installed in the building. So that's it. Just wanted to officially make that update.
Any questions or comments?
Have you had any comments from patrons regarding the camera?
I don't think so. Nothing's come to my attention.
Just curious. That's a good thing.
Yeah.
Are we approving the
No.
policy?
Okay.
Yeah, no, it's just an update.
Oh, okay.
Any other
You already
questions?
approved the
or-
policy.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, moving on. President's report and comments from the board. Christy, do you want to start? You said you had a lot.
Friends have been busy. Moose Heart reached out to the Friends of the Library for a $1,000 donation and to supplement their school library collection. This will allow Moose Heart to purchase 2 copies of each books from the Rebecca Caudill Young Readers Award list and the Teen Reader's Choice Lincoln Award 2025 list. This allows daily access to these award-winning books to help improve students' literacy and continue their love of reading. A nameplate will be installed in each of the books and stating that the book was donated from Friends of the Batavia Public Library.
So I just want to reiterate, this is, or to add to this, that it's a partnership that started between the library and Moose Heart. We've been working with them, and we brought friends in, or we asked friends to, if they would be interested and willing to make a donation so that we could supply books to Moose Heart's library for their students.
Thank you.
Did you say how many copies of each book?
That's
2.
what they were hoping to do. If we were to purchase 2 copies of each of the titles, 40 books between the 2 lists, it would be $1,000. And then they had the choice of just 1 copy, it'd be $500. So they went with the 2.
Because normally friends would be using their money to donate to
Another
another organization outside of the library, but because of the partnership that we have with Moose Heart, that's why.
And we can get it cheaper too. So.
Yeah,
My sister.
exactly.
And Christy, I would just add for everybody else, the Caudill and the Lincoln Awards are real big promotions in the schools because students read so many books and then they can actually vote for the best book of the year. So it's a highly motivational.
Right, and that's why I thought 2 books, or 2 copies of each book doesn't seem like enough, because when they have the contest, all the kids are reading these books, so
It's a start.
it is a
something.
start, that's true.
It's a start.
And I'm sure we have it too, right? They could get it.
Right,
Right.
right. Yeah, and a lot of the students at Moose Heart are 1 or 2 grades at least behind where
Yeah,
they should
true.
be. So we really are going to beef up our services to Moose Heart to help them.
That's great. Okay, the Wednesday night sale for October brought in $405. The Saturday sale brought in $918 for a total of $1,323.
Yay!
And the friends were also gifted a $5,000 donation by Gail Kendrick. She was a former Friends of the Library member, and in her obituary it mentions Sue Campbell as a good friend who stayed by her side and was needed during the last stages of her illness. And so with Sue Campbell, she's very instrumental in the Saturday sales. She passes out the numbers to the entry to who can get in so it doesn't get too crowded inside the Friends of the Library sale on Saturdays. So I just thought what a wonderful way to memorialize their friendship and also the friends. So nice. With that, their totals now is $33,525. And they did the farmer's market stall. They gave away 3 full boxes of children's books and bookmarks. They received a $20 donation. June also is slated for a book sale. We haven't been able to do a June sale for a while, but Liesl has agreed that we can, it'll be okay. So there's going to be a June 2025 sale. And the vintage sale will be the first Saturday of December.
Thank you. Any other items from the board?
The Mother's Club wants to thank the library again for being a drop-off site for the coat drive. The library has always been our biggest donation site, and I know the gal has been here like 4 or 5 times in the past week to pick up coats. And the bins are full tonight, so I'll probably take some with me.
I brought
Thank you.
this in to donate, but it's like so cold.
Fair.
Just leave it here. It's okay. We have till Friday.
Yes, and Misty and Amy did a great, Misty did a great promotion as well from the live, so we appreciate that as well.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Any other comments from the board? Then I would like to just piggyback on Christie's and just announce for everybody that the National Friends of Library Week is next week, October 20th to 26th. And it's just a great time to highlight the work of the Friends. The current Friends group has been active for over 20 years, and there were groups before that. What they do is gather and sort books that have been donated to the library. Then they have monthly sales on Saturday, the second Saturday of each month, including June now.
And Wednesday.
And then the Wednesday night sale, as well as the ongoing book sale, which is by the entrance to the library. So, lots of opportunities. The past projects that they've done have been incredible. The Alphabet Garden, a mobility cart, equipment for the staff, 20 years of sponsorship for One Book, One Batavia, which has brought many authors to Batavia, as well as One Book, One Batavia programs. They have a scholarship for library pages, and one of some of the new additions are the kitchen in the basement in the youth services department, and the sound flowers, which are actually called harmony bells in the garden, which is a really nice addition. So how can people help? Well, number one, you can donate your books so that they have items to sell. Number two, you can shop at all those different sales. And number three, you might be interested in volunteering, because it is a very friendly group and everybody there likes books, so it's a nice group to volunteer with. And on the website is information about how you can volunteer. So we appreciate our friends and thank them for all the work that they do. All right, last chance comments from the board. Then moving on, number 9, directors and librarians reports.
So just a reminder that next month at the Cal meeting, we're going to be meeting with Fast Forward Libraries to do a board retreat for the strategic plan. It'll be on November 7th from 5 to 8 p.m. and we will provide dinner. They will be zooming in to the meeting, so we'll project it with the projector. Please inform me in advance if you're unable to attend in person so we can arrange a virtual option. Make sure we share the Zoom link with you. And then that's pretty much it. I don't remember if we decided where we're going to get the meal from, but I'll follow up with the email. Okay, so that's November 7th. Then in September, we got donations from, it's about $385 in donations, from $200 from Dennis and Mary Ann Erford in memory of Nancy Noonan, $160 donation from the former Stormers Book Club, Kathy's Book Club, as part of their annual Born to Read donation, and then $25 from staff member Nancy Frug-Elkin in memory of Julia Elkin. And as always, the library sends thank you letters to all individuals or groups who contribute financially to support our work. In staff updates, there were no new hires or departures. However, we did have a status change. As you all know, Sherry is our new manager of circulation, and so we promoted Sarah May, who was a circulation assistant, and is now our new circulation services assistant manager. And she's not at today's meeting. Today was her first day, official day in the role, but she will be attending the November meeting. And for anniversaries, our much-loved Kathy Moker has 14 years. I'm gonna make sure she stays until her 20th year. And Nancy Krug-Elkin in Tech Services has been here 12 years. Oh, I left an E out in Alice's name. Alice Dubois, she's not Alec, she's Alice Dubois, has been with CERC for 5 years. And then Tasha Owens has technically been with the library for 2 years, but she was kind of a seasonal employee, and now she is a regular employee in circulation as an assistant. So we thank these staff members for their continued dedication and service to the library. Upcoming meetings, as I said, November 7th, the COW meeting with Fast Forward Libraries. And then on the 19th, we have to have our special board meeting, our TITA public hearing for the levy. And then immediately following that at around 6:40 p.m., we'll have our regular board meeting where you will approve the fiscal year 25 levy, the fiscal year 24 audit. They will, the auditors, Lauderbeck and Amon, will be here to do a short presentation to the board going over the audit. And then we will also, I will have the fiscal year 25 per capita grant application for the board to approve so we can submit it in December. And now, before I hand it over to Lisa and Megan, we can just go over financials really quickly. On page 14 in your packet, the cash investment. So this is basically all of the cash, the money that we have, right? So we have in the BMO bank in our checking account, and this is what we pay all of our bills out of. And it's the balance as of the end of September was 112,000 plus. And then we have another account where we have all the property tax money goes into that account when we get it from the county. And that total in that account is $5,238,000 and some change. And so then what, and correct me if I'm wrong, but when we need to add money into our first account, the 1002, we transfer those funds usually from the 1006 account into
They always come out of 1006.
and they go into 1002, so we
Right,
can
and the
pay.
taxes actually come to BMO as well.
It's just a separate account.
And into our regular operating
Oh,
account.
okay.
And then when we have an excess there, instead of drawing from Illinois funds to BMO, we send it over to Illinois funds, like $1,875,000 earlier this month from the tax distribution.
And then we have other various funds. Special note, our special reserve fund is listed here with a balance of over 5 million. And then we have the development fund, which has about 81,000. So altogether, you add all that up and it's almost $11 million. So then going on to the working budget. So we're now at the end of September, that would have been 3 months into our fiscal year. So you want to, you can use that as a guideline as to how much of your budget you should ideally have spent, or you don't want to go beyond unless there are reasons that you might have gone more upfront and then spent less later in the fiscal year. So at 25% is kind of our guide for this time of year. So if you look at our expenses, we've received almost all of our tax revenue, almost all of our revenue. We're at about 95%. But in terms of expenses, we're at just under 23% in our book expenses, which is a good place to be. And then for our audio visual, I'm on page 15. And then our audio visual, we're at 54%. So we're over on that, but that probably will lessen up in the coming months so that we won't go past that 100%. Periodicals, a lot of times you pay for all of it up front, so that's why we're at 67%. And then our databases, same thing. We often pay for those up front, for the whole year. But with books and other types of materials like that, it's every month we're buying new. Let's see. So our total materials expenses is at 29%. So that's a very good place to be. Our personnel expenses were below 25%. In salaries, et cetera, but then overall, including the insurance, the payroll, processing, and all that stuff, tuition reimbursement, everything, we're still below 25%, we're at 22. So it's a very healthy place to be because that is the biggest bulk of our budget. And then with our operating expenses, we're at almost 17%, so we're under budget there. And then the same with our equipment and technology, we're at almost 8%. So our total library fund expenses were at 22%, which is very, very healthy. Then let's see, on page 17, if you look at the special funds, about a third of the way down, same thing. For our expenses, we're at 23.4%, so we're below the 25%. So it's all healthy, all good. And now on the last page of your packet is our some stats. And I just want to point out that our circulation use across the board is up. If you compare this past September of 2024 to September 2023, and those, all of those numbers are up from this month compared to last year. And then year-to-date numbers are also up, 7% for physical items, 29% for e-resources, total circulation being 11% higher than it was this time last year. And then also with our reciprocal borrowing, those numbers are way up too. And then for our SWAN use, again, those numbers have increased from the prior year, both incoming and outgoing. And our library cards have increased from this year, from last year. It's almost doubled for the total number of library cards, new cards. Let's see, then if you go to visitors and room usage, all of that is up. Our library visitors for year to date are up by 32% from this time last year. Meeting room reservations, meeting room attendance, and study room usage are all up. Our study room usage is up 878%, which is, I think, a really significant number, and we need to keep that in mind when we think about remodeling the building. How can we?
Did you change the way you're counting that, or is it just that much more usage?
I think
There is a note.
Oh, there is a note
that says FY23 stats don't include
Yes.
adult and teen, and I think we just have started tracking it differently, so.
Okay.
I think it is, yeah. I don't know that we had any accurate numbers but prior to fiscal year
But they're
24.
constantly in use is what this is showing, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's see. So one of the other things I wanted to point out is that the total number of materials in the collection are down 6%, and that's reflected in, what is that? In the yellow, thank you. Yeah, in the yellow. And because we did a big weeding project, right? However, our circulation rates are up 7%. So, that can tell us a lot. Oftentimes, when you do a massive weeding, you think, oh my gosh, our circ rates are going to go down and everything's going to go to hell. And that's not what happens. What happens is your circulation rates oftentimes go up because it's much more easy to access your collection And you're down to those materials that people are actually looking for, and you don't have to comb through all of the extra that just clutters your shelves. So we're not surprised to see that our circulation rates have gone up, even though the collection numbers have gone down a little bit. I guess that's really all I wanted to highlight. Our everything seems to be going up in almost all of our categories, which is really exciting.
I have a question about the culling of the books. When you are weeding them, are they donated to Friends? Where do they go?
Well, some of them, yeah, they go to Friends, and if Friends doesn't want them, we have a new company that actually pays us money to take some of our unwanted books off of our hands. And I know I don't remember the number. Since we started using this company, and the name has left me.
$3,000, I think.
We've made $3,000 in these.
Better than a garage sale.
Well, we weren't getting any money before when the other company was coming and picking up our books, so. And it's manageable to do it this way.
They actually donated a PlayStation to the Friends. The Friends put it on eBay and got $200 for it.
Really?
Yeah.
That's great.
And I also, it didn't get in the packet because I got this after we'd already put the packet together, but we have a statement from the Community Foundation for July through September of 2024. Excuse me. And our beginning balance was $105,541, and now with various charitable contributions and dividends and interest, et cetera, we are now at $111,535 as our ending balance. So when they email me quarterly, so every time I get a statement, I will be presenting it to all of you so you can see where the Community Foundation fund is. And that's all. And now I'm going to turn it over to Lisa.
Yeah, like with this fancy new podium, I need like one of those game show things. So youth services, so much more exciting for the month of September than the month of August, as I mentioned last month. Our chess club has started up again, and we are very fortunate to have a local Fox Valley area chess enthusiast who approached us and said, hey, I would love to teach your chess basics class. And I said, fantastic, because the last person that did it can't do it anymore. And he's been wonderful with the kids. He's really having a lot of fun teaching them. And he is also volunteering for our monthly chess night, which is when kids just come and play chess. And he's going to continue to do that throughout the school year. So we're excited about that. We've been working to partner more with our schools. Amy Marks, our school liaison librarian, reached out to some of our local schools knowing that the Wild Robot was being made into a movie, and you may have heard. She reached out to some of our local schools, and some of our school librarians and teachers came to the library garden and did some readings from the Wild Robot. And then there was a party at the end of the week, and they played some games that kind of related to the book and movie, so that was a lot of fun. We've talked about the success of sensory playtime that Allison Wise has taken on this year, and you've got some pictures there in your board packet of just how messy some of those programs get. So we are very, very grateful to our facilities staff who gamely lets us make a mess as long as we promise to clean it up to the best of our abilities. And you can see in that right-hand picture especially, that's the sensory table that the Friends graciously funded for us, and you can see how much fun they're having, and you can see the mess on the carpet too. So we are learning to tarp things, but we're having a lot of fun with our small friends, and their parents and caregivers are letting us know that they appreciate the opportunity to make messes in our house. We have been doing a lot with folks in the community. Batavia Nursery School comes throughout the school year once a month to the Youth Services Department. They get a story time, and then they come and do a book checkout. It's a lot of fun. There's about 40 really enthusiastic faces once a month, and we had our first visit with them at the end of September, and very kindly they put a shout out on Facebook to us about how excited they were for their first visit of the school year. So there's a nice screenshot of that. We also did a visit with first graders from Louise White, who I understand have been visiting us for several years now. It's kind of a tradition for them. And we had a story time, a craft, and then they had a tour. And boy, let me tell you, that is a lot of energy first thing in the morning. Each are we's, but we had a lot of fun with them, and they had a lot of fun with us. Mill Creek Cooperative Preschool is visiting us on a monthly basis. That is new for us this year. And Mary Podrasky, our full-time library associate, shared a story time with them and tells them a little bit about what's going on in the library. We're hoping to convince them down the road to do some book checkout like our friends with Batavia Nursery School, but one step at a time, I get that. And then we have had a lot of fun passive programs going on, as we always do every month. They always say, know your audience. Butts are always funny to kids. And I found a fantastic book called Butt or Face. It's a nonfiction book, and it's literally close-ups of parts of animals, and you have to guess whether it's the animal's butt or the animal's face, and some of them were pretty tricky, so we turned it into a lift the flap activity with full credit to the author and photographer, and the kids had a lot of fun guessing, as well as the adults. And as you know, we kicked off our new dramatic play corner in September, and a big thank you to many of you who humored me and came down and saw it last month. As you know, it was Pizzeria. If you haven't seen this month's activity, it's Mad Scientist Lab. That one is another creation of Mary Podrasky. She's had a lot of fun with it, along with decorating our department. So if you haven't seen it, come on down. The kids are having a blast with it. We also have a new monthly art program for early elementary kids called Artist Adventures, and Mary Podrasky is creating that one as well. They're checking out a different artist every month, learning a little bit about the artist, and then they do an art project in the style of that artist. So they had Gustav Klimt in September, and I believe she is exploring Cubism this month. So should be some interesting output on that one. We attended several curriculum nights at our local elementary schools. As you might know, they're all on the same night, so attending all of them is a little tough. But we visited Alice Gustafson, and we had 16 new library cards issued at that curriculum night, so that was definitely worth our while. I visited J.B. Nelson and spoke with a number of students and families. A few less library cards there, but I think it's never time wasted, just kind of being approachable, letting people know what the library has to offer. So a lot of fun there. We have a new partnership with Kitty Academy. I'm visiting them on a monthly basis, and I saw all 80 of their students, so toddlers through kindergarten last month, and that was a fun morning as well. We mentioned Mooseheart earlier, and Megan will talk a little bit more about our partnership with them, but we are very excited to be back and partnering with them. Things kind of fell off a little with COVID, and they have a new librarian this year, so we're eager to provide more services to them. And then last but not least, Kristen Zambo and I went to the farmers market the weekend after the friends were there, and we saw about 156 different people. Not a lot of new folks, but again, I think just generating goodwill and being at something that's a community event is valuable. And we had so many nice comments about how much people appreciate the library. They love our services, they love our materials, and the friendly staff. Any questions?
How often do you change out the little, the pizza parlor / science lab?
Every month.
Every month.
Usually around the first of the month, depending on when that falls and how long it's taking to pull things together. So yes, there'll be a new theme right after Halloween. Stay tuned. Any other questions? Wonderful, thank you.
Okay, I feel like every month I'm like mirroring what Liesl said. We also had things pick up in September, which was nice to see. That kind of happens every year for adults especially. But so we had 516 people come to 28 programs. We were happy to have Sundays on Stage back after a month off. I think the community was too. They really loved that one. We also had a program where Illinois Tollway Community Day happened. We had no idea how that was going to go. We had 75 people come to update their iPasses, so we will be having them back. So that was really fun, but we also had a lot of great outreach things launched this month. So as Liesl mentioned, we have, and as came up earlier from Christy, we have great partnership building with Mooseheart. I know we had obviously worked with them before, but it feels like we're kind of starting fresh with the new librarian. We had the teen librarian, Mallory Manning, and the middle school librarian, Amy Marks, have really done a good job of communicating with her. They went over there and interacted with 52 students, which is over half of their students actually. And they brought some people from circulation who helped to give 30 students new library cards. So that was really exciting. And through the Friends' generosity, we were already able to provide them with those books from the award-winning categories. They are thrilled. So we're going to continue building different programs, and I know our librarians are going to go over there to help their staff learn about some databases and then kind of work with their students more too. We also are starting to partner with Mercy Housing a little more. We so far are not sure exactly what it'll look like, but we started by giving them some of our discarded cookbooks, and they've started a mini collection there that people are really excited to have for their residents, because I know a big problem is their residents coming to us. So it's nice to be able to provide them things off-site. And we are starting to work with Elder Day, which is a center that helps people with memory care during the day, so that caregivers can get a break and it can have the people can have a place to go and do fun activities. We're going to start by visiting monthly for the next 6 months, see how that goes for everybody's schedules. So Misty jumping over there with some memory kits. You can see some pictures of the people really enjoying them. And they had a great time, and their staff was really, really grateful too. They said that it was one of the biggest hits they've had recently, and three of the kits actually got checked out because people love them so much, so they wanted to be able to take them home. So that was all very exciting. And then we are also still always working to improve our library space. So we were able to finally get all of the local history items into the local history room by adding a lot of shelving. So hopefully that will make it a lot easier for people who are researching or just wanting to explore a lot of true Batavia history, to have it all in one place and marked clearly for what exactly the different collections are. So we really like how that turned out, and we'll keep working to try to make this space nicer for everyone.
So does the catalog, exactly what you have?
Yeah, so there's sort of 3 mini collections in there now. It's the regular reference local history. Then there's sort of a reference Illinois history, so that it's still local, but it's not necessarily all just specific to Batavia, but those are next to each other and clearly marked. And none of those circulate out of the building, just because often those are, materials that we just want to be a lot more cautious with, because we can't just buy another copy and replace it. And then on the other side, there's sort of the circulating collection, which has a lot of genealogy items in there, because people like to do genealogy work a lot of times when they're in there. And then some local history items that are either duplicates or things that are not so difficult for us to replace, so we're happy to let people take those home. So it's in 3 physical sections, and then they're all marked differently too.
Where is Mercy Housing?
I don't know their exact, it's in town. I don't know their exact.
Is this the Elder Day?
No, Mercy Housing is, you went to an event there.
It's what?
Batavia.
Yeah.
Oh, it's the apartment.
You went to that event there, yeah, with Misty. I don't remember their
The
exact.
reason I'm asking is because, RSVP gives transportation to Batavians, and so if they're having issues getting to the library, maybe somebody needs to mention to them that they could foreseeably call RSVP and get a ride, or maybe they could pick up a whole carload of seniors and bring them over.
Yeah, that's a great tip, thank you.
They're not just seniors over there, though.
It's all ages,
It's all
yeah.
ages. It's
Well,
families.
They work with pretty much, I think it's pretty much all age. I'm not positive, but I do know they work with seniors, but it could possibly be younger folks.
Yeah. We'll look into that, because I know Mercy Housing does not currently have their own transportation. I know they someday are hoping to, but they don't yet. We will probably do, some more things off-site to be able to serve them in different ways, but until we figure out what that'll look like and to fill gaps, that's a great thing for us to explore, so thank you.
In this third picture, is that a cat?
It's a fake cat.
It looks like a real cat.
Yes,
It purrs.
and it purrs like a real cat. It's in the memory. 2 of the memory kits. One has a dog and one has a cat, and they
Creepy.
It can be a little, but it's meant to be soothing.
comforting because you'll see them petting it and brushing it a lot, and the fake purring makes it feel like the comfort of a real animal if they have it in their lap, but they can't turn off. So if you ever pass the memory kit collection and you hear a buzzing or some kind of activity, it's the battery.
You did not smuggle a real cat?
No.
Oh.
You cannot check a real cat out of the library.
It's not Lucy.
No. It is fascinating though to see the response to, because I think they start, people start out knowing that it's, it's a pretend cat, but very quickly they really start to treat it like a real pet. So it's kind of endearing to watch over time, how they start to sort of care for it, and it seems to be very calming for people. So.
I'm happy to bring Lucy someday.
I take it maybe that wouldn't be as calming based on your...
No, she purrs like a champ.
Okay.
Thank you, Megan and Lisa. Sounds like there's a lot of great stuff going on. Moving on, number 10 is a reminder of minutes of upcoming meetings that Joe already went through. I'll mention the last one. Thursday, December 5th, we're going to have a Finance Committee meeting. And if you have questions, you could send them to Jenny and she'll compile them for that meeting.
She's voluntold for the pledge and this.
They're asking a lot of you tonight.
So thank you for volunteering to do that.
I'm in. Put it on my calendar right now.
And number 11 is adjournment. I'll make the motion to adjourn.
I'll second that.
So a motion by Trustee Russo and a second by Trustee Fasano. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And we're adjourned. Thank you, everybody.